I want to say that, and especially I want to warn those people who are claiming ostensibly that they won anything or any political contestation yesterday. There was no contestation. It was who against who. We were only voting as individuals, and we did what we ought to do, and we exercised our democratic right as elected members of parliament. And as you may have heard yesterday, I called those people who were making noise there traitors and cowards and sellouts. And the reason why I did that is because I never knew a member of parliament who went and convinced thousands of people would be bribed with apparently 100,000 shillings to vote in this way or the other. And therefore, there was no better way to describe those sycophants other than calling them out and saying it as it is. But also I want to say that the whole thing is now going to the public, and the people of Kenya will have an opportunity to actually reverberate their voice and bring it out for those who are in Slaba in Nairobi to really understand where the people are. And I want to wind up with a fallacy that is being sold to the people of the region I come from, that is Mount Kenya. Because the zealots and the surrogates of the promoters of that document are purporting that Mount Kenya region is benefiting. One, on something they are calling one man, one vote, and number two about constituencies, which is actually a lie. The formula in the BBI is perpetuating the same kind of neglecting the people of Mount Kenya region. Because out of the 70 constituencies, the 10 counties of Mount Kenya are actually getting only 17, which is actually not commensurate to our votes. If you look at a county like Nyeri, with a population almost the same with Kilifi, Nyeri is getting 0. Kilifi is getting 4 new constituencies. A county like Murang'a, which is comparable to let's say maybe even Bugoma, we are getting only 1, whereas they are getting 3. A county like Nyandarua is getting none, when at the same population, a county like Kwale, even lower population, is getting 3 additional constituencies. And therefore, the same thing we have heard there before, of formulas that are skewed against the people of Mount Kenya, is the same thing that is being perpetuated by this document. And we could not just stand up and cheer and clap for the same people who are trying to defranchise the people that we represent. Lastly, I want to say that it was a Pyrrhic victory, so to say, if there was any. Pyrrhic because at what cost? If something is popular, did MCAs needed to be tipped with 2 million shillings each? If it was popular, why were barrels of guns used on the heads of people who are supposedly marked as no people? Therefore, what is there now to honestly even talk about celebration? There is nothing. It was a sham. Money was used. And I hope the people of Kenya will prove their positions as the document goes to them.
Those who are bragging of having won and the team that is aligned to us having lost are confused. To start with, there was no contest. The voting in Parliament was merely procedural. It was ceremonial. Irrespective of the outcome, the BBI would still have to go to the people. That is the law. So we were there merely not to stop anything. We were there to put it on record that we don't think BBI is a priority. And it was important that we do so for posterity, so that it is in the hands and is in the records of this country that there are few people who are courageous enough, who are principled enough to say that any process that is not a priority should not be allowed to take place. Be as it may, I want to disagree that there was any betrayal. You cannot betray a cause that does not exist. From our corner, we had no common position. We talked and discussed and we said everybody should be free to vote either way, depending on how you feel, how your conscience is, and consulting the people that you represent. So there was no betrayal. The real contest is coming, and there was no contest there. And you cannot betray a cause and go to a no cost. Because when you say that they have betrayed Deputy President William Ruto to go and support who is the candidate on the other side? When we ask our colleagues in Parliament who are opposed to Dr. William Ruto, whom they are supporting, they have no idea, they have no clue. They are waiting to be told. So you cannot betray somebody in favor of nobody. So we want to say that what happened in Parliament was barely procedural, it was ceremonial, and it has no effect on what is happening politically going forward in the 2022 contest. Let the proponents bring the BBI to the people of Kenya will make a decision either way. And ourselves, we don't want to get involved in this BBI thing. Our hands are full. We are working on an economic model for the economic revival of this country and our region, and that is our focus. That is what we are really interested in. And the fact that we went there to be on record does not mean anything. We just wanted to be on record that we are opposed to forcing something onto people when at a time when we have a pandemic, when people have economic problems, when people have no food, when people have no jobs, when people are really crying. We found it very insensitive and uncalled for. And I don't think there is any issue. We are waiting for them to go and sell the BBI. As they sell the BBI, ourselves, we shall be consulting our people on their input on the economic model and what we need to do to revive our economy and move this country forward.
I think first is to say we as a team had no common position that was discussed and agreed on. What we did agree on is that everybody would vote according to their conscience and what their local politics informed them. And we never mobilized anybody or lobbied anybody. We allowed all our members to vote independently, depending on what they feel of their local politics and what their conscience informs them. In terms of lobbying, yes, the other side was lobbying. We can confirm that because even for us on the other side, they were lobbying us, both in the House, some with very good promises, and of course, as has been said, there was also money changing hands, and that is without a doubt. I really don't want to get into details of who was receiving what or who was giving what, but even in the county assemblies, money did change hands. And it wasn't any different in the National Assembly. There was lobbying, both within and outside the chamber. There was also some level of intimidation and trying to coerce people to take certain positions. But for those of us who have been firm, we decided to take the position that we have taken. We have never said that we will have a contest on BBI. And I think that is what needs to be very clear to everybody. That we purposed from the word go that BBI was not a priority for us. And we still maintain that position. BBI is not a priority for us. It is not a priority for Kenyans. This is the reason why even now, as people are busy creating positions, we ourselves are busy discussing on a new economic model that will help create jobs and uplift the lives of our people. And that is what has been our focus. Therefore, in all the meetings you see us in, we have never had BBI as a discussion in any meeting. But we discuss the new economic model. We discuss how we will mobilize our people for the next year's elections. The second question you asked is on whether the numbers yesterday portend anything politically to our group. Maybe we should ask those who are saying that, what about those of our members, those who are supportive of the Deputy President, who voted with the other team? It doesn't mean they have changed their position, and I think you've had a number of them state that position very clearly today, that it does not mean they have in any way changed their support and their position in terms of their political inclination, but because of other factors that influence their decisions in matters constitutional and the legislative work, then they had to vote the way they voted. And I do not think this has in any way changed the thinking of any of those members, any of our members, those who are supportive of the Deputy President, those who work with us in terms of their support for the Deputy President and the cause that we are in of a bottom-up approach that will uplift the livelihoods and the lives of Kenyans post this regime. The other question on how we intend to stop BBI. I think as we have said, we stated from the word go that BBI for us will not be a contest before the main contest. Our contest with our opponents is in next year's elections, not with BBI. And therefore, we will still allow all our membership to take the position they want to take on BBI. There are those of us who have decided, come rain, come sunshine, we will oppose BBI. And I have made that clear in all my engagements, both privately and in public, that for me, I don't believe in the process. I believe the process is anchored on treachery and deception, and therefore I cannot be supportive of the process. And I expressed that even in my contribution in Parliament, and I intend to continue pushing that agenda. And but that doesn't mean because as an individual I have that position, any other person has that position. We allow our people to have the democratic space to decide how to play their politics. But we will play the same politics on the 2022 elections and on the candidate we support. That you can bet nothing has changed. Of course, it is consoling for the other team to imagine that a few of our members who voted with them are now supporting their cause, and that is a fallacy, to say the least. It's like saying when I support the government agenda on the floor of the House, I am changing my political inclination. This is a constitutional issue, not a political issue that we are voting on. And therefore, members and all our supporters are allowed to take whatever positions they will take. And we respect everybody's democratic right to choose the path they choose. And the last question you asked on whether those who voted in this or the other way are traitors to anybody. Let me say, whether you voted yes or you voted no, you are not betraying anybody and you are not a traitor to anybody. You have just taken a position informed by factors that you know yourself that has informed you. I am very clear in my mind, for instance, what informed my position and why I've taken that position and why I continue to take that position, and I will stick to my position. It is also within everybody's right to take whatever position. People also change their minds. I am sure you have seen others that have been saying they are opposed to BBI, but they will tell you now because of the new constituencies that this or that county that someone comes from, they say now we are supporting BBI for that particular reason, but they still have reservations on the other issues. And I think if you listen to the contributions by many members across the board, both from our side and even from their side, people would express reservations, say I support, but we are following the reservations. There are those of us who believe that other than have reservations, because 2010 we were told this constitution is good, but 10 or 20% was not good, and now we are talking about amending it. We are saying I will not support a process that I have reservations with. If there was an opportunity to correct the reservations that I had, we would have utilized that position. We have refused to utilize that position for us to be able to have a non-contested referendum and be able to support it, all of us. In the absence of that, then a few of us choose, or a number of us choose not to support the process. Those who support it doesn't mean they are anybody's enemies. It is their right, and they have the freedom to do that. And nobody should demonize them. Nobody should demonize me. And there are many of us who don't care what you say and how much you demonize those who take a position. We believe we're in a free country. And may we also tell the proponents, stop intimidating people. Stop bribing people. Stop coercing people. Convince and persuade people on the positions that they should take. I was saying, if you listen to my contribution in Parliament yesterday, even before the voting, I indicated in my contribution and on Hansard that we shall be bribed here, we shall be intimidated, we shall be coerced. And I asked the people of Kenya to rescue themselves from further enslavement on the ballot. And because this document now moves from Parliament, where people can be bribed, people can be intimidated, people can be coerced, my appeal and where the contest goes now is we the people, is to appeal to the people to stand firm and defend themselves and rescue themselves from further enslavement by these people.